Hello everyone, welcome to another session of Data Workers Growth Series. And this is under the topic Trusted Advisor. And this one is one of my most favorite topic, and it's also a very important topic that defines who we are as consultants. It's about communication. Especially, we are going to talk about closed loop communication. So before we go deeper into the closed loop communication, let's first understand what is open loop communication. The concept of this open loop communication, it came from a manufacturing process. So imagine any machines. When you're dealing with any machines, typically here is the common process that will happen. Let's say you first get some input to the machine. You're actually sending in some iron rods. And the machine actually takes that iron rods into some processing. It's actually going to take its own sweet time. It may actually have 10 different process, couple of hours, and at the end of it, it'll have an output. And only when you have the output, that's when you're actually going to know whether the iron has turned into the expected outcome or not. So this is typically what we follow in our day-to-day communication. Especially there is a tendency that we follow the same approach when we work with our customers. So let's see how we can actually how we apply this open loop communication in our consulting world. Assume we get a task or a request from a customer. They're asking us to work on a specific report, and we get the email. We start reviewing the email, we work on it, we understand the request, and we know that we can actually get it done in a day. So we started working on it, and then it takes a couple of hours. We do the work, we review, validate, and then we have the final output, and then we actually send that information back to the customer. So this is the normal process that happens in an open loop communication. And whenever we get this kind of request, if we start thinking from the other side, let's say from the customer perspective or from the sender's perspective, they will always be wondering, hey, did they get the task? Is everything good from your side? Do you have all information that are needed? Are you really working on it? When will I be getting my expected outcome? All these are the questions that the sender will have in their mind. So if you see the problem with the open loop communication, even though we are getting the work done, it creates a chaos, it creates a confusion, missed expectation, and it creates frustrations at times. So in most cases, most of the consultants, we are well equipped to deliver our work. But instead of creating an impact, all we will be doing is just chasing on creating a clarity. And that's the basic problem with the open loop communication. So how do we avoid this? We can avoid this by using a closed loop communication process. This is a mindset where we have that every message, every task, every conversation, we must end with a clarity, confirmation, and completion. So let's get back to the same scenario, right? A customer is requesting a report. You receive it. The first thing, we have to acknowledge it with 3 key elements. That's basically the acknowledgement process. And the 3 key elements are going to be confirmation, clarity, and completion. So all we got to do is, hey, I got it. I will work on it later today, and I will finish this task by end of day today. I hope that works for you. So if you see, we are adding a confirmation that we have got the email, and then we are adding a clarity that we will get it done by later today or by end of day today, which means we understood what the work is and we are very clear. And then finally, we are completing it by just checking, hope it works for you. So this is a very direct scenario, right? So you send that, and then once you send that email, you start your work. That's where the actual action starts, and you work on the action. And then at the end of the process, you may say that, hey, yeah, I'm done with this work. So by end of day, you're submitting the work. You send out another communication confirming that the work is complete, and you can ask them to review if they need anything additional details to be added or any additional information that are needed to complete the process. So this is pretty much a straightforward scenario. So let's say a slightly complex scenario here. So again, you receive an email with a task, and you're already working on a high priority task. And after receiving the email, after reading the email, you realize that you may need some time to do more research and review. So again, rather than waiting, we can first kick off the acknowledgement process. use the three key elements here. Again, confirmation, clarity, and completion. So here, you can say, hey, I got the email. I got your task. I'm reviewing it now. I'm already working on another high priority task. I can do my initial review and get back to you on the next steps by end of day today. I hope that works for you. Right? So if they say it works for them, fine. If not, obviously there is going to be another action or a prioritization that should happen. So you finish your work, you do your analysis, again, you do your review. That's basically, you're actually, still in the process, right? So you're still in the process of doing this work. So by end of day today, send the next response. Okay, I've reviewed this task. Maybe it may take 8 hours for me to complete the work. Probably I'm expecting to get it done by end of day tomorrow. I hope that works for you. Then the next update. And if they say yes, fine. Complete the task. Send the closure update stating that you're done with the task, and you send out a follow-up email to close that work. So this seems to be like a small change in our day-to-day communication, right? But it's actually huge, because if you see this closed loop communication, it eliminates assumptions, it builds confidence, it creates predictability, right? And the more predictability that we could actually build, we can actually build the trust. And that's when we actually turn into a consultant, into a trusted advisor, right? So from the client's perspective, they will always know that, hey, no, I've got it covered. Like this person is, they will cover me. I have no issues on that. And your teammates will always think that I can rely on them. And that's the power of closed loop communication. Just to give a quick summary, the purpose of this communication, this method, is to ensure that every message, task, conversation, it always ends with clarity, confirmation, and completion, and we are not leaving any room for assumptions. Some of the common scenario would include client request, internal handoffs, status update. Could be anything. It could be from a Slack message, from sending an email, or it could be in any form. And the benefits: it removes ambiguity and missed expectations. It builds a culture of reliability and accountability. It strengthens the client trust. And finally, it keeps teams communication tight and professional. And remember the 3A framework, where you have to acknowledge, you have to keep updating during the actions, and you need to actually affirm at the end of the process. And the key takeaway here is communication isn't complete when it's sent, it's complete when it's confirmed. Thank you.